So, okay, we're going to talk about you in three different ways right now, because you are an alumni of the Work in Progress, the new Work in Progress Forum. You brought RETABLO in a few years ago. So that's very exciting too, because we're going to talk about what that was like and where the film went. You are a SIFF alum because RETABLO came and was in competition. Was it in competition when you came the next year? That's right. Sorry, thank you. And this year, you're also a jury member on the Ibero-American jury. So we got three things to talk about. So the first question I'm going to throw at you, though, has nothing to do with any of that. What are the movies you've been watching during lockdown, during the pandemic?
Oh, actually, for some reason, I've been very near the life of doctors and nurses, and actually, there's not many films I've seen. I've seen a couple of series. One is called New Amsterdam, which is, I mean, what drive me there was how to put a heart in all this complicated context of health crisis, which I love. I saw a movie a week ago, which I loved so much, which is called Promising Young Woman. Amazing film. It moved me. It made me think about a lot of things. Everything was right there, and the drama behind the black comedy is so interesting for me. Yes, those type of things.
And a lot of people might not know, but you have two worlds that you straddle. You're a filmmaker, creator, artist, but you're also what I like to call a scientist in a way, a psychological scientist, and you do really interesting work on that end as well. Tell us what have you been doing over there on that side of your brain?
Yes, as some may know, I'm an organizational psychologist, and I work with big corporations to bridge the gap and do innovation work. No, I graduated from MIT, and in the last year, since lockdown started, we've been working in many interesting projects for humanity, like building emergency ventilators to save lives, or new programs to contain nurses and technical assistants in the hospitals, you know, for them to keep their health and their empathy going in a very complex world where they need a lot of help as well, no? And a lot of projects related to that, no? which in essence not only contributes to saving lives and humanity, but in a personal note, it really you experience the real stories of the real heroes that we see in this context, and their dramas and their complexities and the complications and the health crisis that is not only in our country but in every single country, but you live it in the moment, and for me that's a source of inspiration for things that move me, and then in the night before I go to sleep, I can actually start playing and creating my new characters, and that's very therapeutic for me as well, because that's a way I can handle or deal with complexity in life, no? Have a window to at least play with fantasy and contrast it with reality, and something beautiful might come up, or some dramatic complexity might come up, but at least that's what keeps me a bit sane. I am a bit insane, but a bit sane. So yeah, it's been a very tough year. Through our projects, we've seen a lot of people that have died and have gone, but also we've seen a lot of people that we saved as well. And just to be in the edge between life and death, I think it's humble, no? You learn a lot of things, you empathize. I think the world needs more empathy. And I think the lockdown has brought this to many people as well, which I really like, because the good thing about the coronavirus is that now I think people are much more empathetic than before. And that's important for the world.
Exactly. Exactly. Wow. This might be the first time I'm ever talking to a filmmaker who graduated from MIT. And if I remember correctly, didn't your film school happen, some of your film school happen in London?
Yes, yes. I studied first in London School of Economics, organizational psychology, and then I started working in a program in innovation at MIT. I was living at Boston when, in the nights, I was writing Retablo.
I love this. You know, let's do a little bit of background because you and I know each other from a long time ago because I got to be fortunate enough to program your first short at Palm Springs Short Fest. I can't remember what year that was,
2012,
2012.
for the companion, yes.
Well, okay, we're almost to our anniversary then. Next year we'll have to celebrate another
Yes.
anniversary. So tell me what you remember of the journey of Retablo, starting with the short, which was called The Companion.
Yeah, it was a very, very amazing journey. As you know, I didn't study film. I just did a course, a film directing course in the London Film Academy when I was at the London School of Economics doing organizational psychology and working there. But my passion since I was 15, I've been writing scripts, and I used to buy the DVDs and buy scripts and put in pause and watching and doing that for 2,000 films. You start learning how to write a script, but that was my hobby. I didn't do sports, I didn't do anything, I just did that. And I was amazed because that was my escape to another world, another imaginary world that was for me, and it filled me with so many things. And when I was nearly 30s, in my 30s, one thing that we always say in the world of innovation is just don't think too much, just throw yourself to the pool and do it. And I had all these in my personal life. I had all these amazing scripts, and at least I consider it, but I was very afraid of making it happen because I didn't study film until one day I decided, okay, let's start with a little thing like in innovation with an experiment. And as you learn, you make the experiment bigger until suddenly you create a product and you scale it to the world, right? So I did a short. I did a first short called "Can You See Me," which was okay, no. And then I remember I wrote a big piece which is called "The Color of Numbers," a feature film, and I competed in this Peruvian Ministry of Culture competition where they select a couple of films, and if you select it, they give you resources to make your movie. It was like the prize is like $200,000, something like that.
Oh, whoa.
So I applied, of course, with my script, and I got into the final. I had to pitch, and I thought, oh, I'm accustomed to pitches. I pitch all the time my innovation projects, right? So I went there, and I remember the first question was, why should we give you the prize if you haven't even studied film? And I said, oh my God, there we go. So I didn't get it, no? But then I realized, because I wanted to tell my story, I started looking in the world for a good script doctor that could see my script and can give me advice. And I found this amazing guy that gave me this advice. He read it and he said, you know, it's very well written. I really like it, but it's too innocent. You have to experience something that is called dark, and it will help you. And what I suggest you is just think about something that moves you and you're scared, and write a short film and do it. And when you learn, go back to your original feature-length script and change it, or see what resonates you and change it, and then call me again. That was it.
Great advice. Great advice.
So I continue working, no, but I always was like thinking what scares, what moves me, no. But and I remember one day when my younger brother told me, like, please accompany me to put me a tattoo in this very weird place in Lima. So I went with him and I sat down, and I remember the sound of when the two artists, they put in just the sound took me to a world where I was scared. So I just went back and wrote something. And I remember I wrote the companion and I showed it to Pinky and she said, okay, this is not what you normally write, but that's it, no? So it started like an experiment and I did it. And then we realized we have to put it into a festival and we applied to the Palm Springs and it
But
was
we
my
weren't your
first
first.
festival.
We were not
We
your
were-
first, right? So that you had applied to. Didn't you apply to a bunch of other festivals first?
I know in the companion, you were the first.
Oh, we
You
were
were
the
the
first.
first.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I mean, I didn't know at that time about the festivals and anything. And somebody told me Palm Springs was one of the best short film festivals. So I sent it and we got in. And I said, oh, wow. So the film is not that bad. So we got in. And I remember I went there and I met you the first day and we talked about the film and we had all this amazing chemistry and I remember I was there and we were exposed to all these amazing mentors because the good thing about Palm Springs was that you were exposed to all these mentors and all these master classes every single day. And I remember the funny thing is that the last day we had a master class with Gus Van Sant and you know I always admired him. So because of this admiration, I just I sat at the back, no? And before he actually had to get in, we were watching another master class about this amazing cinematographer. And I remember I was sitting down there and somebody sat next to me and it was Gus Van Sant. And he was just next to me. And I was like freaking out. And I remember I just looked and I gave him my the copy of my film and he just laughed and he took it. And for me, it was just already a dream come true. But anyway, after that, I remember 2 months later, the companion got into Sundance and got into Rotterdam, and which I never expected. I remember when we got into Sundance, I really thought that somebody made a mistake. And but no, I mean, we got in, and then we had the amazing pleasure to have you in the team and in the marketing strategy and the publicity strategy of the companion in Sundance. And I think it did really well there. We got a lot of contacts, we met a lot of people, and suddenly, well, the companion started an amazing circuit throughout the world. It was more than 250 film festivals and won awards and all that. But that was like the preparation, the ground to start thinking, should I write a feature film? Should I do a feature film? No? And it's really interesting because all this journey starts giving you more confidence or more strength, because I never imagined myself doing a feature film, no? And what was amazing through Sundance and the work that we worked together was that we got connected to many amazing people from the Sundance Institute as well and the Sundance Lab. And I remember, and I met Robert Redford, and he watched the film.
Can we just say, I'm going to interrupt for just a sec. You met Robert Redford, you met Gus Van Sant at Palm Springs, and you happened to have a DVD on you. And so you gave him a DVD of the film. You meet Robert Redford at Sundance. You very wisely take a retablo with you, and you happen to give the retablo to Robert Redford.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm not going to spoil the end of this, but there's one more person I'm going to talk about where you were so well prepared when we get to the end of this journey. So I'm going to put that in the back of your head.
Yes. And I remember I met him, and the first thing he asked me was, where did you study film? And I said, oh, my head was saying, now what's going to happen? I said, at the London School of Economics. And he said, wow, you shouldn't study film, just continue doing what you're doing and have the strength and the confidence of doing it because you're living film. And then I realized that there's a lot of parallels between film and innovation, because it's about being in the field and contextualizing a collaborative process with amazing people and make things happen, you know, and define what's the story that you want to tell and share it to the world in the most genuine way you can, you know? And so that gave me some confidence. And he talked to me also about the Sundance Lab and blah, blah, blah. So I applied to the Sundance Lab. It's just, you just apply with your screenplay. That's it. No. Which, by the way, after doing the companion, I could adjust certain things of the screenplay, so it was a better screenplay, I think. And 6 months later, I remember I was at MIT doing this amazing work with emerging and disruptive technologies, working 24/7. And one day I received this call by the amazing team of the Sundance Lab saying, we selected already the group of the Sundance Lab you're in. And in the next month, you have to come to the resort in Utah, and you have a team of members that will help you with your screenplay, but more than that, help you to find your voice, no, and to define what you want to tell, no. So there I started. I went there, I remember, and it was an amazing experience. It was a very personal experience, no, because you have these incredible mentors that are not interested in what you necessarily wrote or whether the scene is right or wrong, but they are interested in what's your truth and what you really want to tell. And sometimes when an artist writes something, you're not aware of many things, no? Some things are more unconscious, some things are more unconscious, and you're messed up, no? But they are really good at and building your confidence to believe in yourself and believe in the story you want to tell. And I remember the last day I was there, they have this amazing informal ceremony where you have to throw your script to the firework. Like
a bonfire.
A bonfire.
Yeah.
And then you have to drink a shot of tequila. And with that, the symbol is now you have to rewrite your whole story. You know, you start again. No? And I remember we were 6 directors or six screenwriters, and I was in the queue in the last. No, they were throwing, they were drinking, and I remember my script. It was like my child. Like I cannot bear. You know, I was caressing the pages because I didn't want to throw it. You know, with 4 years of work. By the end, I threw it. I drank the tequila, and that was it. And so I went back to Boston. I was living at Boston at that time, and I continued doing my work. And I said, I'm going to think about this, no? But the best advice I had at that point was, you had gone through a whole experience at the lab. Just think of the 3 or 4 things that most resonated from your experience, and with that work in your script, no? So that was something that I was thinking all the time, no? And I remember 6 months later, it was January 2014, and it was a big, everything was closed. It was minus 30 degrees, you know, snow everywhere. And my wife said to me, I'm going to Peru because I cannot stay with a kid of a year here. You can come with us, but I suggest you stay this month and write this script that is going on and on for all these years, because you will not have time later. So I start working 24/7 in that. And in a month, RETABLO was born. And then I started working with Hector Galvez, my co-writer, and we started like putting it together. And then we realized that was a story that we wanted to tell. So, well, we shot the whole thing. We prepared for it. We went to live with a team, with Pinky, with everybody for a year in the Andes of Peru to make the film happen. So I put all my work in sabbatical so I could focus on this. And I remember when we finished, I thought, well, we have a good material, no? And then we started the post-production process, which by the way is a very complex process. It's a different process, no? So with my editor, Eric Williams, we started doing, you know, first cut, second cut, third cuts, and also with Tobias Pope, which was our sound editor. We started also editing the sound, which is a beautiful craft in itself. My God, you can do wonders there. And then we made all this happen, and until one day we thought we were looking at our cuts, and you know, you think you have progress, but you're stuck. You're stuck, no? And you say, okay, what's missing? There's, you know, and you're stuck. And at that point, I remember it was the inaugural year of the work in progress, you know. So and you told me about this amazing thing that you wanted to do at SIFF with all the team, and I said, my God, I'm I'm the perfect candidate, because my editor and I think we have a good cut, no, but there is something that we don't even know how to express to words, that we do not know if we have finished, and we have some questions that we do not have answers. So of course, when you show your material at that point to your co-workers or other directors, like, it's very political, because nobody tells you exactly what you want to listen. Everything, oh, it's beautiful, whatever. Yeah, but you need somebody to debate with you in a very trustful way, and it's very difficult to get that, and to get people to get invested in your story in a gentle way. You don't find that, no? And when you were explaining me how this progress was going to work with a very well curated space, a safe space where you have people from the industry, people from the audience, and mentors that will look without paradigms your film and just react to it, and then we will have a conversation to build from it, and they will ask you questions, and you can ask them questions, and from then you can construct something and find something that you're looking for, but you do not know what it is. I thought, shit, this is what we need. This is a treasure. I've never experienced this in any other festival or any other lab. And I said, okay, I'm up to it, no? But what I remember, the most interesting thing for us was, the first thing is that I went to this amazing lab, post-production lab in SIFF, which is a work in progress, with my editor, because at that point, and I think that was another good choice that I made, because if I would have gone alone, how can I explain all these things that are happening to him later? It's like a lost in translation thing, no? But the magic for me was not what happened the day that I showed the film, and what was happening the next day, or the evening, because people, when they see the film, they react to it, but then suddenly the film sits inside your unconscious, and you can, in a community where you can start thinking about it. So I remember the next day that we showed the film, and I was in a breakfast with all the people there, and with all the other directors and all the other mentors and people from the audience, that we were living together like a community, you know. It's like a 3-day thing. And we were talking in the evening, or suddenly we got drunk in the evening, but suddenly somebody was telling me a question. I said, oh, this question, no. So you're inside a process. All this is curated in a beautiful way, but you're in a process. And I remember when we finished this, we came back to Peru with Eric, and we just put all the ideas and the questions and everything we processed in the WIP, in the work in progress space. And we finished the movie in 3 weeks. All these questions that we had, that we were stuck, we were like, okay. And suddenly, I remember one day we finished editing, we saw it and said, I think we're ready. I think and it was mutual, you know? So I think I really love, and I'm a fan of the work in progress, because it helped us finish a movie. I think when you are doing any piece of art, a painting, a movie, a music, the question I always had is, how do you know if you finished? Because you never know. I mean, you might think, but then, because there's so many things going on there. But I realized, I mean, after this amazing experience, I could validate in my head that why I want to put each scene, or why I want to cut it in a certain way, or why I want to connect this music, or why I should minimize a bit this or maximize this. And of course, there's a lot of fears, and a lot of people tell you a lot of things, but you need to be exposed to that to see what resonates to you at the end. And I think the WIP program, the work in progress space, give you the confidence, give you the strength in order for you to decide and to resonate with what's right, no? So that's why I'm a fan, and I really loved it. And I remember that the second year, I went back, I went back because my film was at the Seattle Film Festival, but I also participated there, and just to see the other films, and I was like, this is a treasure. I mean, this I don't know if I don't think nobody else in the world does this, but this is a treasure for filmmakers, and if they are not taking advantage of this, it's because probably they don't know that it exists. No, but it really was very helpful for me.
And so the film went on to premiere at Berlin and won a few awards, won the
Yes.
Teddy, the Newcomer Award in particular, and then went on this massive journey, right? This massive festival journey. How many festivals did we end up playing in total?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it was like 200 and a bit festivals.
And awarded repeatedly, award after award after
Yes,
award.
it won 55 awards.
55 awards. And then Peru submitted it as the Peru submission to Oscar. So that's a big honor as well. And at the same time, BAFTA nominated it for the best for the best debut feature. And
Yes.
then Film Independent nominated it. And you were in some heady company at
Yes.
both of those places.
Yes, in the Film and the Independent Spirit Awards, like we were nominated in the Best International Film.
That's right.
And it was very strange to be next to Parasite, Les Miserables, the French movies. I mean, it was so bizarre, no? But we were just very humble that our little Quechua film from the heart from Peru, like, went everywhere, and now it's in Netflix, and so many millions of people can see it and can watch it, no? And things happen. I mean, it's been an amazing journey for RETABLO.
And there was one more opportunity that you had at Film Independent for this, because you know me, I always do everything in threes. So at Palm Springs Short Fest, Gus Van Sant sits down next to you, you give him a DVD. At Sundance, when you're taking the short, the companion, Robert Redford, you meet him, you give him an actual retablo. And there you are at the table at Film Independent Spirit Awards. And who's sitting next to us at that table but William Dafoe?
William Dafoe, and we actually with my actors, and suddenly we became really good friends, and we were drinking and we were talking about the Andes, and he was really interested about Peru. And at the end of the night, I always carry with me to all these places with our retablo, and I gave him my retablo. It was really interesting because 2 weeks later he wrote me.
Oh.
And he watched the film and he really liked it. And he said, we have to collaborate one day. And super beautiful person, no? But yeah, I mean, I don't know how these things works, but sometimes the stars align in the right places. And
well, I think also too, these things work because you're present in the moment, because you remembered to bring something with you and carry the retablo, which I will always have very fond memories of, a dozen retablos in the backseat of my car as we go around LA. But because you remember and you're in the moment and you're present, and there shouldn't be any fear. Like, that's the thing that I think holds people back. And maybe that's the thing that all this experience has started to help remove from your persona, is there's no fear. You just go forward, make a movie, write a story.
Let's make it happen.
Let's make it happen. So now you're going to come back to SIFF again this year as a jury member. You're one of the jury members on the Ibero-American jury. What's that going to be like? What are you looking forward to for that?
I mean, I think, as I mentioned before, I think to be a jury member is just as a privilege to see for first time all these incredible movies that have been curated, programmed, and selected. So for me, it's just a very therapeutic opportunity to immerse myself in their worlds, in what they want to tell, and I just see it as a massive privilege, and it gives you also the time to see these movies, no? So I just want to learn. I want to see what's happening in other parts of the world, and in other stories, in other micro universes. I'm really, really excited. I'm really happy that they chose me to be a jury. I just happen to be also virtually a jury in the Chicago International Film Festival and in the La Habana Film Festival, and it's just amazing, no? And also I'm looking forward to meet my other jury fellows members, and have these beautiful and complex conversations about stories, about movies, about everything, and I'm looking forward to that, no? And but I'm really, really happy to have a special place of Seattle in my heart, because it has done so much for my career. So I'm really happy to go back, and you know that at any time somebody will call me, I'll go back. At least now virtually, but one day I hope to be again physically
Very soon, very
there.
soon. Because once you're family forever. So that's how film festivals work. That's really how Seattle works. Once you're family, you're always family.
Yes.
Which
And
is
thanks
great.
also to Beth and all the team, no? The best parties are in Seattle. So
Oh, that's yes, that's very good to know. The best parties are always in Seattle. So it will be an interesting year. We're virtual this year, hopefully the only year that we're 100% virtual. I think that all festivals worldwide are making, big steps towards different sort of approaches to bringing audience and filmmakers together. So it's going to be an exciting time to see what happens after the pandemic has imposed these artificial restrictions. But I think the one thing that's clear, at least from my perspective, is that you, as I say every single day, you guys are global storytellers for a global audience. And so this is one of those ways that we reach around the globe instead of just to our own backyard, although SIFF's backyard is very special, I will admit.
yeah.
So I'm very grateful for that personally.
No, yes, definitely. No, I'm super humble and grateful, and thank you for always trusting me, Kathleen, for everything, and being with me in my whole career. No, so we're in a career that's been started very well, and let's see what's happening next.
Exactly. And I'll be there until you tell me to go away. And even then I'll probably still be there.
Always until the end. Always, always.
Hopefully no end. I don't like ends. So hopefully no end. All right, Delane, I'm going to let you go because it looks like it's a beautiful day in Lima, and it's time to go enjoy with the family and say hello to them for me and give them hugs and kisses. And I'm going to see you at SIFF, see you virtually at SIFF pretty soon. And I hope that I hope you have a great time on the jury. You have fantastic jury members with you, one of whom is a big supporter of yours. So I think you'll have fun being together. And we will see you, I hope, at WIP as well, at the Work in Progress, even though it's online. And thank you so much for today.
Yes, no, thank you to you. Lovely talking to you as always, and super proud of everything. And congratulations to all the team of Seattle to making this happen, because it must be very difficult to make it happen in a context that we're living. And he's very brave, very courageous, and I just can imagine the behind the scenes of what everybody has to do to make this amazing festival happen. So congratulations to all the team, and thanks to you for everything.
Of course, they are the best team ever. I have to agree with you on that. All right, we're going to see you soon, and have a great day in Lima today.
Yes. Take care. Thank you so much.